Hey guys, Brad from RotoHeat back at it with another 2020 rookie profile. This time we're talking Tyler Johnson, wide receiver from the University of Minnesota.
Don't forget, if you've liked all the content you've been seeing from the RotoHeat channel here on YouTube, like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything that we're kicking out for this 2020 rookie class.
In his career with Minnesota, he had 213 catches for 3,305 yards. That's 15.5 yards per catch and 33 touchdowns. For athletic ability, we gave him a 6.4 out of 10. Often times as we watched film of Johnson, we saw a really smooth player. He had really good control of his body. We definitely like the size-speed combination. He's not a burner per se, but he knows exactly what to do to get open and fill those voids in the defense. And, we're excited about that as it projects to the next level. We definitely see him as a guy who projects pretty well to the NFL, and athletic ability may not be the highest rating that we give him, but definitely something that we think he does well enough, especially at his size. 6'2", 205, to see him move as smoothly as he does is a really positive thing for him. For toughness, we gave him another 6.4 out of 10. He's a guy that doesn't really seem to give up on plays. From what we saw on the tape, we saw a hard worker. We saw a very willing run blocker, and at his size, that's a real big plus. 6'2", 205, he can take on some of those safeties and defenders and really help spring open the running lanes for those backs coming out of the backfield. So definitely a guy that, it isn't an elite rating that we gave him, but it's definitely well above average and definitely NFL level, NFL caliber for sure. And another area that not only can he grow in, his frame, I think he can add a little bit of size, a little bit of weight to him, and still be very successful at the next level. For hands, we gave him a 7.2 out of 10. Definitely one of his better attributes coming out of college. If you watch a game like SD State, you saw a guy who had a lot of trouble with drops. But overall, throughout his career, he was really good as a hands catcher. Really good using his hands to go up and get the ball. You saw plenty of times against different opponents over the last couple of years him make some really big plays. And so we're not terribly concerned about his hands going to the next level. A game here and there where he just has a tough game. Everybody has that. So that's definitely something that when you're evaluating him and looking at him, you'll want to watch more than just one or two games. Definitely get a bit more into his profile, because you'll see that he's a much better hands receiver than one or two games may dictate. For Yak, we gave him a 6.8 out of 10, slightly above some of the lower athletic ability and toughness grades we gave him, because we saw a very tough physical style to Johnson's game. Will definitely help him at the next level when he's having to fight for every extra yard. We like his vision. If you look at his tape, a lot of the times he was making the first defender miss, and that's a big deal, because that will help him get 3 to 5 extra yards pretty easily if something like that, depending on how many guys are around him. So we're definitely think that he's got well above average ability in the getting the extra yards after the catch. For route running, we gave him a 7.3 out of 10, by far his best ability in our eyes. He's a super smooth route runner. He's got really good awareness, probably well above average awareness. Obviously, like all these areas, once he gets to the NFL level, there's going to be some refinement that needs to happen. But this is one of those that he walks in day one is probably one of the better route runners on his team. We loved watching him come in and out of his routes. He did a pretty good job in most cases. He does need a little bit of work when it comes to the pressing. When we were watching corners get up and bump him at the line and really get in his face, sometimes he had a little bit more trouble handling those types of things. But as time went on, it looked like he was getting better at it. So definitely something to keep an eye on, but definitely one of his better features coming out of college. Overall, we gave him a 6.8 out of 10. Some of us aren't really super excited about him. We definitely think he projects well to the next level. The team's kind of split on him. Some really think he projects well to the next level. We saw some of the guys comp him to like a Tyler Boyd, where others, think he's kind of a day 3 type pick. Because this class has such an interesting, diverse group of players across the board, it'll be interesting to see where Tyler Johnson lands in in the scope of things. You know, think of some of those top receivers that are in the classes, the Judys and the Higgins and, you know, Ruggs and Lamb. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to really break into the top, you know, of the top 7 wide receivers in this draft class, and that's going to be tough for him. You know, when that type of thing happens with as interesting as this 2020 class is overall across all the positions. You know, it's going to be tough for him. I think, you know, in your fantasy drafts, you're probably looking somewhere, you know, late second, early third type pick, at least at this point. You know, we still have scouting combine and the actual NFL draft to come, but definitely an interesting prospect, one to keep your eye on. You know, he could have some sleeper potential if he can develop in some of these areas. But make sure you let us know who you want us to rate and review next.
Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.